fearing for her life as she was trying to ram into them. That woman was trying to drive away, and an ICE agent who could have easily stepped out from in front of the car, but decided to instead unholster his weapon and fire several shots into the vehicle, fatally.
DHS LEO should also avoid intentionally and unreasonably placing themselves in positions in which they have no alternative to using deadly force.
It's not going to stop until we stop it. The Senate's not going to stop it. The House is not going to stop it.
Yes. You don't know us. You don't know how we've been involved in our community. You're not keeping us safe. You understand?
Welcome to Black Files Unlocked. Everybody's been hearing about ICE agents raiding the streets of the US like we're some kind of third world country. Well, it's already heading that way. This is Renee Nicole Good. On January 7th, Renee was unalived during an ICE operation. She was a US citizen, a mother, a real person with people who loved her. What happened to her was caught on video. Although Kristi Noem and the Trump administration have bent the truth about what happened, there are a lot of questions around how this unfolded and why it ended the way it did. I'm not here to sensationalize this or talk over the facts. I'm sharing this so you can see what happened and decide for yourself. This video contains real footage and real moments. Let's watch the clips.
ICE shot and killed a woman today in Minnesota. Straight up. They murdered that woman. I've seen the video. I'm not gonna show it on here because TikTok be tripping. But they murdered that woman and then tried to turn around and say they were fearing for her life as she was trying to ram into them. That woman was trying to drive away, and an ICE agent who could have easily stepped out from in front of the car, but decided to instead unholster his weapon and fire several shots into the vehicle, fatally killing that woman in Minnesota. This is murder. These people are fucking lunatics and they're out of control. They are gunning down United States citizens in the fucking streets. We are not angry enough. I don't care how you feel about it. You're not angry enough, mother. I promise you, you're not. This country, if I'm being honest, this country right now is just unrecognizable. It's always been terrible. Don't get it twisted. It's always been a gigantic clusterfuck of nonsense. But at the same time, you could at least say we were trying as a nation collectively to be better. Even if there were motherfuckers holding us back. We were collectively trying to be a better country, a better nation. That's over with now. That's over with now, I promise you. The very fabric and soul of this fucking country has been taken hostage and infected by right-wing violent lunatics who want to see everything fucking burn. And the people elected to protect us from this nonsense are too chicken shit, too fucking pussy to do anything about it. They killed that woman in cold fucking blood and then tried to turn around and say she was trying to hit them with their car when anyone with a fucking brain can see she was just trying to get away. Y'all are not angry enough about this. We are not as a nation angry enough about this, and it's pissing me the fuck off. I swear to God, bro. I don't know how anybody could see that video that I witnessed with these two eyes right here and not feel this just giant wellspring of rage. And maybe I'm preaching, maybe I'm talking bullshit right now, but maybe rage is what we need. We've tried talking to these motherfucking people. They won't hear it. We've tried negotiating with these motherfuckers. They don't want to. Maybe when they've been made to fear for their life the way everybody else has been made to fear for their life, maybe they'll fucking get it that this ain't a goddamn game. But I can tell you one thing for sure. We are not angry enough. And it's time to start getting pissed off.
He should have never even been in front of the car, per his own department's policy. Per the Department of Homeland Security website, this Homeland Security policy statement clearly states DHS LEO should seek to employ tactics and techniques that effectively bring an incident under control while promoting the safety of LEOs and the public, and that minimize the risk of unintended injury or serious property damage. DHS LEO should also avoid intentionally and unreasonably placing themselves in positions in which they have no alternative to using deadly force. He not only placed himself in that position against policy, but he already had his hand on his weapon even as he was crossing in front. He had every intention of doing this. He pulled out his weapon while she was reversing. And then they again went against DHS policy when a medical doctor said, "Can I please check her pulse?" And they absolutely refused and used the words, "I don't care," to him, because as soon as practicable following a use of force and end of any perceived public safety threat, DHS LEO shall obtain appropriate medical assistance for any subject who has visible or apparent injuries. He should have never been crossing in front of her vehicle in the first place, but he knew exactly what he was doing when he did so. He had intentions when he did so. His hand was already on his weapon. He had it drawn and in her face before she even finished reversing. He had plenty of time to step out of the way. But instead, he pointed that gun directly at Renee Nicole Good and he murdered her.
It's not going to stop until we stop it. The Senate's not going to stop it. The House is not going to stop it. The midterms are not going to stop it. The courts, the Supreme Court is not going to stop it. There is no other entity that is going to stop it except for white Americans. It's not going to stop until white Americans put an end to it. We created this problem. It is our problem to fix. It's not going to stop until we stop it. Stop until white Americans put an end to it. We created this problem. It is our problem to fix. It's not going to stop until we stop it.
We're outside of a federal immigration facility here in Minneapolis, where, as you can see, there are rows, dozens upon dozens of federal law enforcement personnel creating a barrier between protesters, which are on my left, and the entrance to this facility on my right. Earlier today, hundreds of people were gathered here, essentially trying to block enforcement operations by clogging up the entrances to this facility. The goal was to prevent cars from leaving or entering. That promptly resulted in the federal law enforcement presence you're seeing today. We've seen at least 2 people get detained. We've seen at least 1 instance of tear gas being used. And we've seen several protesters attempt to actually have conversations with these federal law enforcement personnel as they attempt to safeguard this building and, again, create a barrier between protesters and this federal property. Take a listen to some of those conversations.
You all Donald Trump administration. I never saw you guys standing out there protesting during that. Because you were kidnapping us off the streets in broad
Are
daylight.
you from Minnesota?
Huh?
No,
Right.
so you wouldn't have
Not
seen
at
us.
home. We're at
You
home
wouldn't
right
have
now.
seen us. You don't know us. You don't know how we've been involved in our community. You're not keeping us safe. You understand that? A woman was murdered yesterday. And you guys are here just to terrorize and harass our community.
I'm so angry, and I don't want to be angry. Our community is being terrorized by the United States government. They do not need to be here. They murdered one of my neighbors yesterday.
He's not from around here. See. I appreciate you being kind wherever, whenever you can.
How are you feeling?
Well, obviously upset, angry, freaked out. Why is a 62-year-old woman out here with her big orange gloves wagging her finger at grown men who are in full military gear, clutching at their guns and holster their tasers? Why are they doing that? It's so unnecessary and so absurd and so ridiculous.
A woman was murdered yesterday, and clearly in the videos, it's not her fault. It's so scary right now. We didn't have trouble in Minneapolis until ICE came.
Silverio Villegas González, a 38-year-old man who was shot and unalived by an ICE agent in Franklin Park, Illinois, on September 12, 2025. According to federal officials, they stopped him during a traffic stop and say he tried to flee and hurt an agent with his car. They claim that's why the agent fired the shot. But there's more to this story, including video and eyewitness accounts that raise questions about what really happened. Silverio had dropped his kids off at school that morning. I'm not going to narrate over every second. You're about to see the footage itself. Watch closely.
Surveillance cameras captured this deadly encounter. It shows the moments the man tried to get away from ICE officers before he was shot and killed. ICE says he was in the country illegally and had a history of reckless driving. But new reporting suggests his past may have only included a few traffic violations. Immigrant rights advocates say ICE's aggressive tactics are terrifying Hispanic communities.
Surveillance video shows the moment ICE officers pull over a man in a Chicago suburb Friday morning. Officers approach the car on either side. Then one of them appears to try and open the front passenger door. The man then reverses as the officer on the driver's side appears to hang onto the car as it begins to pull away, prompting one of the officers to open fire. At least 2 gunshots are heard as the car accelerates. The Department of Homeland Security alleges the man resisted arrest and attempted to drive into officers, dragging one of them a significant distance. DHS says the officer feared for his life and shot the man. Witness photos show ICE officers tending to the mortally wounded man, who was later pronounced dead at a local hospital. He's been identified as 38-year-old Silverio Villegas González from Mexico. DHS describing Villegas González as a, quote, criminal illegal alien who was the subject of a targeted operation. KTLA's sister station, WGN, reports that according to court records, Villegas González's only prior cases have been for traffic violations, including driving on an expired license, operating an uninsured vehicle, and speeding. The deadly incident comes as ICE ramps up immigration enforcement operations in the Chicago area in what the agency calls Operation Midway Blitz.
And the reality is that ICE is endangering the community with these tactics. They are indiscriminately targeting people, Latinos specifically, based on their race and ethnicity.
Meantime, President Trump announcing today he's deploying the National Guard to Memphis to curb violent crime. The president says he has the support of Tennessee's Republican governor. Memphis's Democratic mayor says he did not ask for the Guard and doesn't believe it's the way to drive down crime.
Well, they are grieving tonight, a vigil and a memorial growing here behind me. The FBI is investigating. ICE says one of their agents was injured during this confrontation, feared for his life, and shot and killed this undocumented immigrant. Today, protesters gathered here where it happened, and the family who says he was a father of two who just dropped his kids at school. A furious crowd tonight in Franklin Park, and the devastated family of Silverio Villegas González, shot dead by a federal agent during a morning traffic stop.
Justice for Silverio, because he did not deserve this. It should not be a deadly consequence to have a traffic violation.
The government said the agent followed his training, used appropriate force, and properly enforced the law. Gonzalez's girlfriend said the 38-year-old was originally from Mexico. He worked here as a chef, had 2 young children. It is unclear why he was stopped.
A basis for his being pulled over this morning, he had just dropped off 2 children at a local school.
Congressman Chuy Garcia wants to see the original warrant and body cam footage.
Racial ethnic profiling that's taking place, and it's shameful. It's racism, it's discriminatory, and it is selective.
And he's warning holiday revelers this weekend given the increased ICE activity.
We are urging people to celebrate intelligently, to do it with dignity, because the whole country and the world is watching what happens here in Chicagoland.
Well, Homeland Security said González had a history of reckless driving. However, a search of nearby court records found no criminal history.
Keith Porter, a 43-year-old father of 2 who was shot and killed by an off-duty ICE agent on New Year's Eve in Northridge, Los Angeles, which did not get enough attention or coverage, in my opinion. Majority of people bring in the new year popping guns, including off-duty law enforcement. Officials said the agent heard gunshots, went out of his apartment, and ended up shooting Porter after claiming Porter pointed a rifle at him and fired.
Armed with an AR-15 rifle, possibly suffering from a gunshot wound by the PR.
The Los Angeles Police Department confirms a man was firing shots from a rifle into the air at an apartment complex off Roscoe Boulevard in Northridge New Year's Eve.
It was like a lot of shots. It was more than 10 shots. It was orange shot. And we got scared, but I thought it was something, like fireworks.
LAPD says a neighbor who happened to be an off-duty Homeland Security agent confronted the suspect, then shot him.
He is a Homeland Security agent, currently waiting his work attire.
The man died at the scene, and no one was arrested. While this agent was off-duty, there have been several recent incidents involving use of force by DHS.
We're here off Amestoy Avenue, close to where Keith Porter was gunned down by that off-duty ICE agent. This memorial is here for family, friends to mourn.
Porter's family and community disagree with that narrative. They say he was firing into the air, celebrating the new year, and wasn't a threat. And now they're demanding answers and accountability. There's no body cam footage that's been released, and people are rightfully questioning how this ended with a man dead and no one else hurt. What you're about to see are the clips after the shooting, the candlelight vigil, and the victim's family.
You stole my cousin from me. You stole their father from them. You stole a black man off the planet that God ordained to live and thrive. You stole a human life, and you need to pay for it.
Advocates say Porter was observing the holiday that night with gunfire, but the agent allegedly ordered Porter to put down the weapon. And when he didn't comply, DHS says the off-duty officer fired his service gun. The agency claims Porter fired 3 rounds at the officer before he was killed.
This is sad. This is sad. Been here 35 years. This is the first time that such a thing ever happened in my community.
As the LAPD investigates what led up to the shooting, the community want witnesses to come forward and the ICE agent identified, arrested, and prosecuted.
Were this anyone else, there would have been an arrest. You don't get to just murder people because you don't like what they're doing or how they're celebrating. We want him named, we want him arrested, and we want him prosecuted. We also want ICE out of LA.
And this man was never even taken into the station. He went back into his home after murdering my little cousin.
The LAPD told the LA Times investigators have not yet spoken to ICE agents due to the protocol and how deadly force investigations are conducted with federal law enforcement officers.
If you watch this whole video, you've now seen 3 different stories, 3 different people, but the same pattern running through all of them. Renee Nicole Good, Silverio Villegas González, Keith Porter. Different days, different places, same outcome. This isn't about shock value, and it's not about rushing to conclusions. It's about paying attention and listening to what's going on in the White House, the US, and just about entire country, what the families are saying, and what questions still don't have answers. These weren't headlines. These were real people. I'm not here to tell you what to think, but I do think these stories deserve to be seen, remembered, and talked about. If you feel the same, share this video. Keep the conversation respectful, and don't let these names fade once the video ends. Thanks for watching, be safe, and have a good one.